Welcome back to Scotland's premier Fife-based podcast, Fife Club. The first rule of Fife Club is, as ever...
Talk about Fife Club!
I'm getting good. Somebody's always jumping in these days. I will get the barbershop quartet going.
I've been away for a while.
Fife Club!
Fife Club!
Fife Club!
That was terrible, guys.
Needs practice.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed last week's shortened episode. This week I am prepped with backups, redundancy plans. Top tip, always have a redundancy in place.
No. Which is good for anyone whose job's under threat. Reassuring.
And in these times, pretty much everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, we'll just get straight to it. Anyways, around the mic with my good self, Gutch, tonight is our favourite internet celebrity. It's Jamie.
Hello.
Because you were on 2 podcasts, eh?
Was I?
Yeah, you were on the Bugler as well.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was because of my 280 Twitter characters.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of you. That's what I was. Obviously, I'm a tastemaker and trendsetter.
Next to him is our resident flair cocktail artiste. It's Mark.
Hi, Craig.
Hello.
Hi.
And across from him is the hustler of Holyrood. It's Mags.
Hello.
Is that a Holyrood Jazz Mag?
Hustler.
I think in these times...
It's not so much a Holyrood jazz mag, it's like a stray leaf of a porn mag in the Rex Park woods.
Whoa! Billowing around.
Blowing around in the woodlands.
Oh.
And as you can hear, a last-minute addition, making his biggest comeback since Lazarus, still trying to convince the world double-deckers are better than boosts, and without a perfect wicker man, it's Beattie.
Look, I've got 280 characters on Twitter now. I'm gonna make a difference with this double decker. I've got twice as many characters.
Yeah, you can double deck your
Twice
tweets.
the power.
It's like Street Fighter. You have one version, then you come back the next one with twice the number of characters. Is
Oh yeah, it's
that game's reference for you?
Yeah.
double decker 2x turbo.
Plus alpha.
It goes so fast you can barely see it on screen.
And unlike Have I Got News For You, we're quite open to bringing back people who've had trouble with prostitutes in the past into their seat.
I was watching that last week, and I kind of thought, why haven't they brought him back at all? Like, because obviously it's like, it's a bit of a joke now.
I've not seen
comedians.
I've not seen him on TV at all.
He was on
Nighty
Nighty. He was on Nighty Night, which was what's her face, Julia Thingy, who's goes out with Steve
Aye,
Coogan.
Julia what's her face. Aye.
He also presents a show about making cakes.
What?
Yes. What? He does, yeah. There's something, I forgot what it's called, but it's about like very elaborate cake making.
Are you having flashbacks to your unemployment? No, it's just
very, very much. Yeah.
So is he like? So that's weird. You wouldn't pick Angus Dean for it. Is he like the straight man, and he's trying to make fun of everybody else?
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
But like, this whole controversy's kind of blown over now, and like, I don't know whether they've brought him back. I was like,
We brought you back. They could bring him back.
Yeah, exactly. I've set the trend.
Well, that's all fine.
Unless Angus Dean's got a grudge to.
I think it's more like he's maybe not a very nice person, and the producers
Yeah,
wanted rid of
possibly.
him. Like, you get the, I mean, it wasn't a massive scandal, really, was
No,
it? Like,
it was just
I think they were
coke and
looking
hookers,
Oh, just coke
for.
and hookers.
Well,
Yeah.
Andy,
The
Andy
Tories
asked
were
for-
up to much worse at the time.
Yeah.
Andy asked for a limo driver to play gangster rap.
Did he?
That's what the Sun article said. I remember it.
But nowadays that's fairly tame.
God, yeah.
Wow. So, shall we
Read the socials.
do the socials, James?
Yeah.
Good segue.
Clunky.
So please talk to us on Facebook at facebook.com do it again. Please talk to us on Facebook at facebook.com/5clubpod or at 5club. Twitter at 5club. 280 characters if you can. Email ken at 5club.co.uk. Instagram 5club or our website www.5club.co.uk.
Have we put any Instagram pictures up recently? What was the last Instagram picture?
I'll
we
put up a picture
Yeah,
of my
I-
glorious 280 characters.
Who's making those images? Because they are generally quite hilarious. The man from Del Monte, man. I spat out my lunch one day. It's just, oh, yeah, they're generally quite funny.
It looks like he's eating out of like pear things out of a can as well. It's beautiful.
Monty tin.
I know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm exactly the sort of man that eats fruit out of a tin. I'm not lying.
Yeah, it's quite like how I've managed to get a sort of a wee catalogue of images that I can just recycle regularly as well. But yeah, They are good. They're fun.
I remember I was never really into fruit in tins when I was younger. I thought it was disgusting. At Tina Park one year, a friend of the podcast, Robbie Shade, came out of his tent really hungover, just opened up a can of fruit, essentially downed it. Just and it all out of water. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? That's disgusting. And he was like, oh, I feel better now.
It's amazing when you're
sugar.
hungover.
It is good.
It's a
I've done it.
really
I've taken it.
good hangover.
I've taken it. Oh, yeah. Any more drug crimes you want to confess there, Jim? Wow.
Yeah.
We all know that the fruit business was just a cover for a man from Del Monte's drug business.
Yeah.
He's
They
obviously
make
a
the real
cartel
money.
owner.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like he's going to be paying any tax. Clearly. Tropical.
Come on.
If there's one man as well that knows how to run a cartel, it's you.
Yeah. Oh, my cartels. Fucking love them.
So can I just quickly go on to like I'm just going to make a segue onto our first topic of the evening.
Yeah.
Twitter, 280 characters. What I've not got 280 characters. Obviously, Twitter have realised that I'm a man who understands the quality of brevity. And all the rest of you monkeys need extra words.
When you say
to try
rest
and
of you mean exclusive members. Like me.
Yeah,
Rest of you
got
fuckers
it.
don't have it.
I've got
Oh, do you have
No,
it?
got
I think
it.
everybody's got it now.
I thought everybody had it today.
It's been
Rest of
replaced, so you will no longer have the word count, the character count. It will be replaced with a little circle that fills
Yeah.
up.
Mark, as we speak, I'm just going to describe this. Mark is
Got
checking
it.
his
Roy's
Twitter.
still got his. Oh.
140 characters like a fucking hipster. all I'm saying, guys, is like my sex life. I can do a lot with very little.
Have you updated the app?
I was like, no.
You don't have to update it.
No,
Mine
it's-
just did it.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, my work
this
one did the
morning.
same.
Yeah, this morning
Maybe
it
because you're
wasn't.
locked.
I think it's probably because I'm locked.
Yeah, that's why, definitely.
You're locked.
I locked down my Twitter account.
So no one can see Mark's
Oh.
Twitter unless you're his friend, and he's approved you as his friend. But I saw this morning, I saw on a news article saying that everyone was getting 280, and I was like, oh, brilliant! And I literally went on Twitter and I opened up and I couldn't think of anything to say. It's the first time it's ever happened in my life. I was like, I have nothing to say to the world today.
Why didn't you do 280 dots like I did?
Yeah, I saw
Going down
that.
for it? Yeah.
I saw that, Jamie.
You
That
motherfuckers that follow Fife Club, you're going to get hashtag out of existence. That's all that's going to happen. Nice short intro, link to the podcast, and then fucking hashtag.
They need to get rid of it. They need to get rid of it. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Too long now.
But
It's too
280.
Yeah, I've got TweetDeck, which is a full desktop thing.
Yeah.
And
You one tweet, yeah.
one tweet
Yeah.
fills up almost the entire thing.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know who actually wanted extra. Like, have you seen it?
Advertisers.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, is that
Oh,
what it
yeah.
is? Because they still have a nice
Twitter
corner with that
said
goddamn
something-
edit button.
Well, Twitter said something about, it's really difficult for other languages to fit some things in 140 characters, so this is why we're going to expand it so people using other languages can't. It's like, yeah, advertise.
Yeah.
Typing what looked like Tamil, and it was like, yeah, that's impossible. Yeah. Still not enough.
I know, like, there's definitely no, for my mind, like 280. Somebody on Twitter was like, 280 characters, I might as well just pick up the phone and call someone.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's actually, like, it's a really fair point. Like, I could see the argument for 200, right? Or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
180, yeah, like a wee bump.
Yeah.
A wee bump, yeah, exactly, for that frustration where you're like, I have crafted the perfect tweet, but I'm one letter over.
Yeah.
Have you seen any good 280 tweets so far though? Have you seen any?
Lemmy's
that's-
brevity of wit tweet was pretty amazing.
I've not seen that.
It was just like it was. It was just brevity is the soul of wit. Wit is the brevity of soul. And just repeating it as many ways with 280 characters. So stupid.
I liked the Cookie Monster one.
Yes, that was
Which
excellent.
Spelt out cookie in cookie emojis down the page. Yeah.
That's a good shout. My friend, who is a very much just a militant vegan, but likes to poke fun at himself, was posted one that was just like, yes, vegans get 380 characters, and then he's put, I'm a vegan, by the way. 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 As many times as he could, which I thought was quite funny.
Do you remember that time you were a
I
vegan?
mind that time I was a vegan.
Oh, I can't, but like just constant noise. Fucking shut up about it. Speaker, you're glad you actually missed that week.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
like honestly, all you would have learned was that Mags was a vegan. Oh,
The best tweet I saw today, I don't know if it was actually from today or yesterday, was the Cookie Monster on the One Show, but he was wearing a poppy. It's like the Cookie Monster's wearing. Why would the Cookie Monster wear a poppy? He's like, oh, you're on TV in the UK, you have to have a poppy. Cookie Monster's there next to what's his name? Did the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Chris Tarrant.
Chris Tarrant with a poppy on, and then Cookie Monster next to a poppy. So stupid.
I saw with the caption and it was something like, "Me like cookie and respect war dead." That mixed up nicely.
Well, I just think it must be the first time ever that like Chris Tarrant's been on the TV with somebody else in the same screenshot where he's not been the biggest cunt. And that's a dick.
Didn't Chris Tarrant beat up someone in a restaurant with his spoon?
Yes, yes, he did.
Whoa.
There was an aggravated assault with Chris.
Yeah,
Chris
so if I was eating, you can do that. Why is Chris Tarrant still on TV?
And obviously he shouldn't have been wearing a poppy because he's clearly not a pacifist.
I'm sure it was an Indian restaurant and he either threw the spoon or bludgeoned the man to death.
Scooped out his eyeballs.
Excuse me, with the spoon, I'm pretty sure.
There's another one that's
Is this
not
like
doing
the-
that much telly at the moment.
Is this
so-
like the time that Danny John Jones like chased the bin man down the road? I saw it.
Yeah, just a quick bit of Google research there. Beaker's absolutely spot on.
As always.
13th of May 2007, Tarrant was arrested on suspicion of assault at an Indian restaurant and released on police bail.
Did he get his spoon back?
Yeah, so
Was it like a little plastic evidence back?
yeah, exactly. He's been evidence with a little number on it.
Does
they
it give
say-
details?
Yeah, Tarrant, who had been joking with a couple of dining at the adjacent table, threw an item of cutlery towards the man. Yeah. So,
Is that assault?
yeah.
God.
Well, no, it was a spoon.
I was trying to work in an assault and battery. Work the word assault and battery. I just didn't get there.
So you explained it instead.
Yeah. Assault and
I was trying to do a
battery.
just dessert spoon thing, but I couldn't make it work.
Nah.
I just feel, don't you feel, that allegedly there would be a racial aspect to that with Chris Tarrant? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, that's dangerous territory.
Yeah.
But if we're all nodding in agreement. Nah, not at all, I'm sure. he's
Allegedly.
good. Yeah.
So speaking of massive cunts, I saw Dave Rogers this morning.
You don't say a bad word about our Dave.
So I was dropping off my dog, and then suddenly I heard this squeaky little whiny. So basically, he said hello, and I was like hello, and it's like it was all friendly and stuff, but
There was an underlying
there was
rage.
I don't know, my teeth started grinding a little bit. Something about the way he said it, I don't like it, and then.
He's talking shit about you, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to go to the podcast, and I'm going to,
Well, it's just as well you're here because also a special guest tonight. I do believe we have the honey badger, Dave's special honey badger. And he's through the kitchen and he's just waiting to see you and tell you how much Dave loves you as well.
Why, like, our podcast has developed a series of beefs.
No, me and James are friends again now. It's fine.
It's
You
like
sorted
we're a
yours out.
wrestling show building up a pay-per-view.
Exactly. Beaker's going to come running out, hit Dave Rogers with, like, a steel chair out of nowhere.
a set of Felix blinds.
Yeah.
A very, very far call back to what was that fight he came out with about the sun?
The sun god,
Sun
yeah.
God,
Did you ever hear his fight where he fought you?
No,
No. Oh, he did that and he put it into a
won?
fight generator and he won because you were. Oh yeah, that was a controversial week. You were a massive annoyance.
Look, guys, I found the perfect way to settle this beef, right? Beaker, we get you, we get Dave Rogers, we get you at opposite ends of the Viceroy and arm you with a full thing of cutlery. Sort of old-fashioned Tarrant style.
if the buffet is out between us, I would happily just go, Dave. You know what? Let's just eat. Because that buffet looks
I'm sure Dave would love that as well.
looks and smells delicious.
Well, just like the Cookie Monster approach, you're both pacifists, right?
I had a vision of you both fighting for days. Like, actually war of attrition, warring out your spoons, and then each of you trying to get to the crusty Peshwari naan that's left for sustenance.
I
They
still
do.
wouldn't eat it.
Best Peshawari naan in town, actually.
I've never been to the Viceroy.
Haven't you?
No, I always
good.
go to always go to Cushy's if I'm having a curry.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Cushy's
Viceroy's
good,
old
yeah.
school though. That's,
Yeah.
That's where
Well, do you know
used
what?
to
No, favourite old school Indian, especially for a buffet in Fife, Shimla Palace in County Beef.
County
You
Beef,
cannot, if you want a real
Haggis
old
Pecora.
school, eat as much as you can buffet with the 5 drinks deal as well, which is amazing. Then you need to go to the Shimla in County
I
Beef.
went there once.
Whoa,
I've
Mark is
never-
never been to
Oh, mate.
Right, we're having a Fife club night and we have to get
I
the
don't go
train
to
through.
County
But they do for like 25 quid, I think it is. You get an all-you-can-eat buffet plus 5 drinks, which is like
That's basically paying you to go.
I went for Christmas Day once with my ex and her mum, and it was fucking great. Couldn't believe it. It was fucking. I was like, oh, I don't want to go to an Indian for Christmas Day, but then we went, and it was amazing.
So that's
Haggis Pecora for Christmas dinner. Fuck yes. Oh, son.
yeah.
So it is on an industrial estate, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's next to the football ground.
Yeah.
Well, it's just not really
Next-
an industrial estate. It's
Next to the
the
next to
speedway,
race wall,
next
yeah.
to the race
Ah,
wall
that's
slash
right.
football
Yeah, yeah.
ground. Yeah.
I've seen photos of it, and it looks like if it did close down, it could just immediately become like a plumbing centre.
Yeah,
Like a screw. There's nothing fancy about it.
It's
Yeah.
a weird layout as well, actually.
yeah.
It's really strange.
But it's
so
good.
that is the Shimla Palace in County Beef, and if there's any local Indians who'd like to sponsor a podcast,
we could do a podcast from the Shimla whilst enjoying their $24.99 drinks buffet.
How full of Peshawari naans and
Well, Beaker's battering Dave Rogers over the head with a ladle.
I don't know where this beef with Dave come from. I actually really quite like Dave.
And also, you can't have beef in an Indian restaurant either. Come on, guys, come on.
Hey,
Am I the only one doing the cultural gags here, right? Yeah. Come on, yeah. No, come on, keep up. Is this on? Fuck you, Miles Jump.
So I dip in and out of the podcast these days. Have you ever had any contact from a potential sponsor? So that's
yeah.
a no.
I mean, there was expressed some interest from IBM at one point and Microsoft, but it was a problem. The two of them clashing, you know.
Nightmare. Where do you get the t-shirts from?
oh no, hang on a minute. Well, we sort of semi have a relationship with Kingdom Brewery now,
Yeah.
I would say. I mean, they're not giving us any money, but like,
Let's-
You
like
advertise them for
co-promotion.
free.
yeah, exactly. Well,
Aye.
co-promotion, yeah.
In what way
yeah.
have Kingdom Brewery promoted Fife Club?
On social media. They've shared us on social media and tagged us and
And
things
also
like that.
at the beer
Yes.
festival, they gave us free booze.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much as good as it's getting.
which then we waxed lyrical about Joe and
Yes.
his beer.
I didn't know that if you were a brewer and you went to beer festivals, and if you have a beer on, apparently even if you don't,
Yeah.
you can quite often just get free
Whack
tokens.
your way in free.
And Joe was just like, "Do you guys want some free tokens?" Like, aye.
Oh, I didn't get any free
No, I want to pay
tokens.
for them.
No.
Oh, I'm gonna have words with Joe next time.
No,
I
he just
see him.
said to me, I think.
Yeah.
And I took a few and got a couple of drinks in, I think.
It's fine.
If we ever wanted to drink next.
Yeah, he got one in for me.
I had
so-
did it,
sufficient. I had sufficient beers at the beer
He
festival.
was
anyway, so-
also very good at recommending beers to
yeah.
Yes.
for.
Yeah.
Because we were all just like drinking, enjoying it and thinking about beer, but just like drinking it.
Yeah.
He was like trying as many different kinds as he could to try
to-
and compare and contrast,
to
and
his
like a
own.
fucking pro.
Yeah. And he is. And
It's almost like that's his job.
It was a beer fest where I first tried Twisted Cross.
yeah,
It was.
Yeah.
I think we talked
That
about
was
it on
the
podcast.
beginning of the end for Beaker.
I remember that night because as soon as everybody started drinking Twisted
Don't
Cross,
lie, you didn't remember. Nobody remembers
it was
that.
all like, oh, let's try some beers, and Twisted Cross, and then nobody drank anything else apart from Twisted Cross for the entire night, except it was delicious.
I think I did, but I had more
Yeah.
of Thistley Cross.
I think it was Twisted Cross and then the whiskey flavoured one, which is
Oh.
also delicious.
Oh,
But was that with the
the whiskey
original,
barrel,
the old
yeah.
school
The
Thistley
old
Cross? It
school,
was like
yeah.
8% or something.
Yeah,
It gave you
that's-
the
yeah.
worst hangover known to man.
you still
Yeah.
you still drinking your whiskey liqueurs, B?
No,
You went through a phase of like, I'll try these whiskey liqueurs, and my eventual plan was to get you onto malts, but it never.
Whiskey liqueurs, like Glava.
Exactly.
Glava's like what old ladies have
you know
at
what? So
Christmas.
I looked in a lot of supermarkets, and they just generally don't sell whiskey liqueurs apart from Glava, and I thought, oh, it must be alright. It's not alright. It's bearable, but I was thinking more of the kind of more expensive stuff, and it's like I don't want to be £40 a bottle. I do.
£4 a bottle.
40.
Your limit is £4 a bottle.
I do want. What's that stuff that I used to drink?
Brewdar.
Brewdar's
yeah,
nice.
I would absolutely love a bottle of Brewdar, but I just kind of. I think Glaive just destroyed my taste for whiskey. So yeah,
there's always Baileys. That's whiskey, isn't it? That's my favourite version of whiskey is in Baileys. Yeah.
I do like very, very childish liqueur, like spirits though, like Baileys. And what's the other chocolatey one?
Doolies. Oh my god.
Oh my.
Tia Maria, do you like a wee Tia Maria?
Malibu, because it's
You ever done a ladyboy? But really, the drink. That's how they judge barman. From Wild Partridge, was
If they know, it's a
pint of lager, a
Guinness,
gin and tonic, and a small Baileys. You have to drink it all. Disgusting. Doing one of them is a bad way to start your night, listeners. Believe me, I've done it a few times.
Oh,
but yeah, I do. I don't know. I think I'm maybe attracted to the colourful bottles that they come in. Like Dooley's is literally like blue and red. It's like they're really childish colours. I could fancy that, but I can't imagine me sitting there at home with a glass of Dooley's,
canning the Doolies and watching the TV.
which is getting really sensible.
Watching the news.
I've got this
damn
image
state
of
world.
you getting like these crystal glass decanters and Doolies and coming home at night and like in a globe as well and opening up your globe and taking out your decanter of Doolies.
Another hard day at the office. Darling, it's a hard day. Where's the
People
Doolies?
come for a meeting and you do that thing. You pick up 2 glasses. Do you drink? Yeah. Aye, not shite you Doolies. Yeah.
The barman comes along just like, leave the bottle.
It's stuck to the bar.
Staggering up to bed with this kind of furry, kind of fuzziness in my teeth. It's so sugary. Brush my teeth.
So sugary, so drunk.
But basically, what I've heard as well is that we should do Ladyboys and Cowden Beef and get a curry.
yes.
I think that sounds
Christmas night out. Five Club Christmas night out. Definitely.
Sounds
A ladyboy
like
and a curry and
a
Cowden
plan.
beef.
If I can get a Doolies, just put it in a brown paper
Oh,
Cowden beef.
People look at you despairingly. I used to be such a successful man, but the Doolies has taken him.
I
You could do that in Cushie's neighbour.
Beer or nothing, Doolies. Can you keep that aside from me when I get back? Could you open this for me, mate?
Could you get a champagne bucket of ice, please?
If you did want it in the bag, though, you could just take out your poppadoms from the wee
It's like, I saw a cider. It's like cola cube flavoured cider. Oh, it's...
Yeah, that's
Stiffies, yeah. It's just like juice, like shit
that
cola.
Maybe sort of turn
Shit
turn
alcoholic
my heel.
cola.
What's that? Eh? It doesn't look good, but yeah, I could probably drink that as well. Absolutely foul childish drinks.
Oh well.
Catch a bit of indigestion.
Yeah.
A bit too much beer.
Just
So should we go on to our usual section, our usual news section?
A little news section, 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've got a wee story. We're going to go local first.
All right. I'll do the introduction though first.
All
if
right,
you want.
okay.
And now it's the news quiz. Yeah, where a bunch of Oxbridge-educated Liberal Democrats sit around and mock other people who don't have Liberal Democratic politics. Thanks for that.
I quite like the news.
Well, only when Jeremy Hardy's on.
Yeah, oh no, I don't like doing that. Yeah, really, Susan Calman used to do it really well, but she's not
Calman
been on
was
it for ages. She was
the voice of reason.
She was the voice of reason.
I was hoping that she would get when Sandy Toksvig left, and there was word about her taking over. I know, and then they put Miles Jupp in.
But isn't it the problem that out lesbian women just aren't are being over promoted these days? Is that
They're being over.
You just can't typecast the role, right? That's what I'm saying. You have to give straight Oxbridge-educated Liberal Democratic men a chance sometimes.
Definitely,
with their centrist politics.
That's
You missed
equality.
white.
That's real equality.
White, yes, white.
Yes.
This as much as I love Armando Iannucci, he is essentially centre's dad.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, yeah.
So, what's your news story?
So, my local news story is a really disgusting story that happened last night. And
Shit the bed again. That's not local news, mate. That's just... We know
really
about
local.
We know about this.
Hyper local with Fife. I had a really weird feeling in my stomach, and I had to shit in my bed, and I shut out a live duck.
And then I plugged it.
That's not news. It's like disco geek.
Hold on. Can I just Beaker's back. No, that's not local news.
Max is literally snorting.
Disco geek rides bike.
Right.
Local man shits bed. Like, oh, you know this.
Max, stop snorting Del Monte so Cutch can get on.
Right, come on.
Slice of peach.
Tell us about.
It's gone. My thought.
Sorry, interruption here.
Right.
Mark just left the room to go and get his second miniature bottle of wine because instead of bringing a whole bottle of wine to the recording tonight, he probably spent more money buying two miniature bottles of wine instead.
No, actually, not anymore. This was less than £2 for a bottle. So that's it was basically about £3 for 2 glasses. It was about £1.50 or something. A bottle of Trivento Malbec comes in about like £8 or £9 these
Yeah,
days.
that's true.
So,
Right, Cutch, what's your story?
Sorry, we really want to hear this story, honestly.
Right, come on, shitty Brooks, tell us.
Well, no, it's really just a disgusting story about a deliberate fire that was started in the Glen last night. It's damaged children's play equipment, costing thousands of pounds. Yeah.
Why
really
are
shitty?
Why are you sharing this story on our lovely light-hearted podcast? That's a terrible story.
Because we share shitty stories all the time.
Not your kind of shitty story. No, I can't resist.
It's a shitty story about something that's it's the park at the bottom end of the
the new one?
Yeah, well,
The
at the bottom
new
end of the Glen, yeah.
That's really sad.
Yeah, somebody's decided to torch it.
Oh, kids are cunts though, they really are.
Some kids just want to watch the world burn.
Burned. Well, apparently.
Which bit of equipment is it they've
It's
burnt?
the shoot.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Shoots are always my favourite.
So, if anybody's got any information on that, let Fife Club know, because we'll go and batter them.
yeah, we will. We're going to sort that out.
I recently took my niece to that play park and she didn't want to go on anything and I didn't know why, but when we got home it became apparent that she'd shat herself. I think that might have been the reason. Just like Cutch.
And the story
Are you coming to bed? No, I'm fine.
I'd be like, do you want to go on the, just sit down on
this
the
your-
swing? No! Just sit down and go on the swing. No!
How old
Is
was
this your eldest niece?
No, it's not my eldest niece. It's my youngest niece, who age I don't know because I'm a terrible uncle.
But small.
I was just going to
I think she's 2 in December.
So she had a nappy on. She hadn't shat her pants.
Maybe she's 3.
Right.
Probably about 16, because this is what Jamie's like. Knowledge of ages is like.
She's between the ages of, she's going to be either 2 or 3 in December.
2 and 30.
I'm fairly certain.
So I was in the Glen that time where it was in the news as well, with that some kid had shat in this rotating kind of yeah, and it was just a big blob of diarrhea. I was looking at it, I was like,
Was it
that must be
news?
chocolate. It was from my press. The kids just deliberately shat in it. Yeah,
Deliberately.
Yeah.
See, it's just, why?
They're fucking horrible.
We're meant to be telling people about how nice Fife is on this podcast.
This is a public.
Yeah, this is a public service.
Yeah.
We're doing that. I was just going to say as well, like the other day, I needed to get through to Edinburgh as well, and somebody nicked the copper of the railway track.
That happened twice.
That happens
in
all the
2
time.
weeks. Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying, like burning play parks, nicking the copper off railway lines. These are fucking 1980s crimes. The sort of crimes that when we were kids and grew up, we used to read about and hear about.
Yeah.
And the fact is that they're coming round again because everybody's fucking broke.
Yep.
There's nothing.
And
to
metal's
do,
so
everyone's
expensive
broke.
these days.
Metal's so expensive. Yeah, no,
That's just Britain. Mate.
It's the whole thing. I think OpenReach are desperate to replace as much of their network with fibre as possible, because basically folk come along, open up a service access thing. Manhole, yeah. Pull the cables out, tie it to the bumper of the car, and drive, and just drags all the copper out, and then they go and sell it.
Yeah,
Because
it's ridiculous.
It's worth that much. Where replacing it with fibre, they pull it out and it's worth nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depresses me that we're back to a state of 1980s crimes again. Like everything from food banks to all these kind of things. It's like we're literally reversing the kind of decade and a half or something, or maybe 2 decades.
2 decades
of like relative kind of living prosperity and stuff like that.
I think in the UK as well, average mortality, like age, went down as well for the first time ever.
And I think we're now,
God.
are we not the only country in the world who the country's getting richer but the inhabitants are getting poorer?
Yeah, well, our wages are going down, and well, we've got
Only country in the world.
Well,
That's
of course, must have a lot of money. The rate he's going through bed sheets.
Yeah,
prick.
Egyptian cotton, eh? If it was good enough for Cleopatra to shit on, it was good enough for Patch. Yeah.
On a lighter note, though, I do have a lighter story, and that is that Dunfermline Library has been named Scotland's best building.
Yes, that's the one I was
Shit, that was going to be
my.
my shit.
I've got another one. But yeah.
Shit.
The library or the museum?
The library and museum, it's all
one.
it's all one now.
Okay.
It was the build.
But I think they're talking about the architecture of the new section.
Oh, but
Yeah.
it keeps winning awards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Impressive.
It's an awesome building. Like I say, there's a lot of sort of
And it's
a lot of
free
people
as well.
were a bit kind of worried about it. I think.
Oh, I
at
was.
First.
I thought it was going to be shit.
Yeah, but it's actually, you know what? It's a really good space. It's really nice. The museum part, certainly tells a tale of the town. And
It fits in so well with the surroundings.
Yep.
Like, I think before they opened that space up, you didn't realise. I mean, you knew they called it the Heritage Quarter and stuff, but there was no kind of continuity between the old buildings on the Maygate and the Carnegie Library and the
Birthplace
and the Abbey.
Yeah.
But actually, that's kind of pulled it all together. And the views, in fact, I mean, they've just used the Abbey as a total focus for this new building, which is next door, and this what used to be a car park. And
It's a
stuff.
shame that Abbott House is still empty, though. That's still
I've heard that
something's
might be getting reopened soon with some sort of restaurant-y bar
should.
thing.
Yeah, they do. So Abbott House is never going to make it as a museum. It's
No.
not going to bring enough money in. And now that there's this big expensive council museum next door, no one's going to give them funding for it. But it would make an amazing event space.
It
You have a restaurant.
totally.
You could.
Well, I mean, it lived a life as a doctor's surgery for a long time as well. So
Did it?
yeah,
know that.
that's where my original doctor's surgery
Was that before the Beach Grove Garden came into the garden?
Yeah.
Abbott House was a doctor's surgery.
Yeah.
There's quite a rare Alistair Gray mural inside as well.
indeed.
Yeah, it's a really awesome mural. So that should definitely be kept.
So-
and people used to go and visit the museum just to go and see the Alistair Gray mural.
It'd be cool if that was opened up again, because it really would complete that sort of little section.
Just on a note, if there's anybody who works at Dunfermline Library listening, I'm definitely going to bring that book back tomorrow. That's not a joke.
Oh shit! I've got
That
a
is
book due back.
I got a letter saying you ignored the first letter. It was like, I think I chucked it away because I thought it was a what's on, fucking Carnegie thing.
DLCG
So I chucked it away. And then I got a letter today saying, oh, you've had it so long, you're not allowed to borrow books anymore. I was like, oh shit! Oh no! Oh no! So I'll bring it back.
Yeah.
So you've been locked out the library.
I have.
Is there an upper cap for fines?
I didn't mention the fine, which has me worried.
It's 75p a week. So
Oh, it won't be that bad then.
There's an upper cap.
oh yeah, you're the library expert.
used to be the
aren't
man in the know. Yeah. What I was going to say though, in terms of like when you have these big public works things in places like Dunfermline, you always worry about it, like we were saying.
Yeah.
And like I'm really concerned about what they're going to try and do to the Dunlop factory. I don't know if you guys saw the Dunfermline Express.
It looks like it's just going to become generic flats.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's basically going to look like a provincial travel lodge. It's the sort of place that Alan Partridge would stay.
Yeah.
Rather than like it's actually. I mean. It's actually quite an attractive building. At the moment.
It's got the old. It's got
Yeah.
the actual old factory, like serrated sort of roof as well.
I mean, I
inside
appreciate
it
it's
as
always
well.
difficult to renovate.
Yeah.
I watch
The
enough
problem-
grand designs to know this.
The problem with it is that there's nothing left of it apart from the facade, really. So the
Yeah.
roof's falling in.
Yeah.
There's nothing central. So it is.
Which, you know what, it's a bloody shame because it's not all that long ago since it was still operational.
It's not all that long. But these buildings,
Early
old buildings,
2000s.
take a lot of upkeep. Like you have to constantly be maintaining them, and as soon as you stop doing that, they go in. But no, I don't think it's going to be too bad. Diploma Year Works. I think the thing is, there's not a huge amount of options for the site. It's a really big site. The only way really it's viable to do anything with it is to put housing into it. And if you're going to put housing into it, you need to basically build a new building and with the facade.
Like
on the
what
front.
they did just up the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, like they've done a good job of that.
They actually did it because they've been doing that for years, and I expected
Yeah.
it to be shit, but it was actually alright.
Yeah.
Pretty high quality flats as well. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were walking past it. Was it you? I was with someone, and someone went, "Oh, that's yeah." I think it was you. I was like, "Oh, that's a Paris player lives there."
No, that wasn't me that said that.
Oh, was it?
Oh.
I was with someone who.
If that's a
wrote
Pars,
that.
that's right by my house, and if there's a Pars player lives there, I'm going to go and doorstep him
right.
until we figure out who it is. Because I would definitely know if there was a Pars player that
I've
lives there.
heard as well that the flats, there's no plans for parking either.
Oh no, there is.
Like,
No, there is.
isn't
So
it?
basically, the central bit, the middle of the
would
factory,
be- yeah, that makes
they're
sense.
knocking that out. So, because obviously it's a really big site. So what you'll do, there is a problem with access, but the council planning officers will sort this. The road access will be from opposite the Tesco junction.
Yeah.
And there will be an archway which you drive through to go into the central courtyard, and the parking is going to be in there.
yeah,
And then
right,
the flats will be around the side, and then there's going to be one block behind the tower, which is going to be an entirely new building that they put up, and that's going to be the affordable housing bit. But it'll be kind of tucked away.
Are they keeping the Fred Dibner chimney?
They are?
Yes, that has to be kept. Yeah, the Fred Dibner chimney is part of. So the listed bit is the facade and the chimney, because the chimney's part of recognised as part of Dunfermline skyline.
Yeah,
and
it
it
is.
would.
It's the only one that's left.
It's the last. Yeah, it's the last industrial chimney left.
I
so
always
they
had a
have
good
to keep
idea
that.
that the front part that's opposite the Carnegie should be like a sports, like an actual proper
Yeah, that's
sports
what I
shop.
always thought.
Or like a healthy foods
Yeah,
shop,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because it's right there.
If we had councils that actually had like investments and things and didn't sell it off instantly for land, then we might have councils that are able to do these. Like if we had old corporations, and we might have the ability to do these sorts of things.
Although that
We
land's
don't.
never been owned by the council.
No, I know
just
it's
to make
not.
it clear.
I'm just saying that if we did,
So there are apparently plans for shops along the bit that not
out.
opposite the swimming baths, but the bit that goes along by Tesco.
Tesco.
The way you've got and actually
Well,
that might
just,
be
you're just creating a new high street, aren't you?
yeah, well that might be quite nice because there's a big wide pavement bit there, and they're talking about cafes and
I'm not saying it's
stuff
a bad
like that,
thing,
and so
it's
you've got
just-
space.
it's-
Whereas the bit outside, there's a problem with the bit outside the swimming baths, and the pavement's so narrow.
yes, tiny.
So actually, the flats that will be there, you won't be able to get into them from there. You'll get into it from the central courtyard. So, yeah.
You can have some big flats in there, but I'm thinking we're going to go for a few, like, 6 or so or 8 massive flats that are high rent, and then
I don't
tiny
think they
ones.
will.
No, so
I don't think there's
it's 100. I think it's they're talking. Is it over 100 flats? But the biggest one's going to be 3 bed. It's 1, 2, and 3
all?
bed. Yeah, because people don't really
I
want
suppose.
massive
Especially
flats.
in town.
Yeah.
Like you're probably going to be aiming at mostly commuters.
Yeah,
because
young
you're right
professionals,
next to
yeah.
the bus stations.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I've been looking at. There's a couple of like really massive properties like near me that have been up for sale for
yeah.
ages. Like
Really?
some of them like 6 bedroom things going for like 400,000. It's like
Yeah.
if you imagine that you're a family in Edinburgh or something like that, and you're living in a relatively small
Yeah.
flat, it's not a massive jump to say to you could have a 5 bedroom fucking period baronial house in Dunfermline for like about 100 grand more.
Pay a couple of grand on train tickets a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And those took ages to sell. So like the idea of like high end housing probably isn't going to work, and that's
Yeah.
the problem. But like if we had like I don't know what I would have done with it, but I always remember being traveling and being in this like it was George Soros, billionaire guy, revamped an old like a few old markets and things around places in South America, and like similar kind of old fashioned buildings. I just went in there, put fucking steel girders up inside them, reinforced the whole thing, and turned them into like retail complexes and things like that were unique and kind of interesting. And it's like if we actually want Dunfermline to be some kind of destination place, which in theory could be possible, it is going to take somebody like that to come in and have like that little bit of vision. I mean, I would appreciate it's high risk, but
Yeah.
you would need somebody to do that to make it.
And that's the problem, is that you need a lot of money to be able to convert that. And at the moment, the only way you're pretty much guaranteed to make your money back is to put it into flats and sell them quickly and sell them to the rental market. I totally get. I think a market score would be amazing there, but it would be very hard to make a business case for it, and it would be very hard to ever find the kind of money that they needed. Because
I agree, but something has to become a catalyst.
Yeah.
Something has to become a catalyst.
But there's lots of spaces, there's lots of empty spaces in town. There's lots of, like, the old McDonald's, say, there's lots of shops on the high street
crazy,
that that on a smaller scale. So there was a group, the Friends of Pilmuir Works in Dunfermline, who, prior to the current developers buying it, were looking at a community buyout. And I'd met with them and we'd given them some advice and things like that. And it was a nice idea, but realistically, there's no way a community buyout was ever going to work for that site, because it was too big and it was going to cost so much money to do anything with it. And they're now looking at other building opportunities in Dunfermline, and that's a great idea. And the old church next to the Kingsgate, what's it, the Erskine Church? So that's been owned for quite a while now by a church group, a community group, who are wanting to turn it into flexible working space and have offices and childcare facilities and things, which is a great plan, but it's not come to fruition, I presume because they've not had any money to do it. So
we quite literally are relying, like, our town is reliant at the moment on a fucking second Andrew Carnegie coming in and doing something, buying something that is wealthy enough to buy something which can be put into community
Well,
use.
hurry up, Mark.
Luckily, I'm scaring any second Andrew Carnegie.
I've got no money.
no, I don't think it does. There are mechanisms for communities, the support for communities now through there's the Scottish Land Trust, which now allows urban communities. So Scottish Land Trust used to just give money to rural communities to buy land, but they've just given their first award to a community group in Portobello who've bought an old church, and are turning that into a community centre, because the church were going to turn it into flats, and they were like, no, we want to keep it as a community space. So they've done that. So with a bit of thinking and a bit of support and a bit of know-how, groups can do it. And also the council could be doing a lot as well.
I would agree, but with all due respect, like, a community group's not going to turn something into the destination point that we actually need. Like, to bring back life to Dunfermline Town Centre doesn't require something that's going to be like a nice cafe with a knick-knack shop, or like a couple of things, card shop or something like that. We literally need something fucking massive, because we have a huge population that spend their entire time living in Dunfermline and going across to Edinburgh. We need something that keeps them in the town at various points. And the problem is the council don't, because the council is being absolutely run into the ground by various levels of government. And, like, without somebody coming in and doing something absolutely astronomical, we will end up going the same way Kirkcaldy does. I don't know. I'm frightened for the sake of it. Because,
to be honest, I think you're fighting a tide that's happening anyway. Because and it's not, and it's actually, I mean, when you look at government policy, we're getting a little bit boring and highbrow for the podcast now, but all government policy, Scottish government policy from for transport and economic development has Dunfermline as a dormitory town, and all the money that was spent. So if you look at the Edinburgh and South East Scotland City deal that was signed recently, there was fuck all in that for Fife, and whenever all the money was in it was talking about unlocking strategic housing in Dunfermline for commuters going into Edinburgh, and replacing the Sheriff Hall roundabout for people driving into Edinburgh from Fife. And Fife Council put out a bloody press release saying that replacing the Sheriff Hall roundabout is a fantastic benefit to the people of Fife, because it will allow them to drive to their work quicker. And they had opportunities to ask for all sorts of stuff. Like, some other cities are getting, like, Stirling's got some wonderful ideas about cultural things that they can have with their city deals. This is money from the UK and the Scottish government, and all Fife Council they were happy to just take money for housing and another massive big road. And all the transport stuff's the same. It's about focusing on cutting down commuter journeys from Dunfermline into Edinburgh. So, like, these decisions are being made at a really top level, and even if community groups were to come in, or people to come in with money and try and change it.
But hold on. You're forgetting that there's community groups like What's Happening in Rosyth who will regenerate Rosyth and West Fife.
The waterfront!
With kelpies at the waterfront.
Kelpies at the waterfront.
Besides kelpies at the waterfront, and also the Crossroads roundabout, they had a big idea where they would get the guys working on the ships down at the dockyard to, the most dangerous roundabout in Rosyth, where there are constant accidents and you can't see from one corner what's coming at you. That roundabout, to put in big massive steel letters Rosyth. Big box letters saying Rosyth around that roundabout. What's happening, Rasai? I've got beef.
Also, the waterfront development is just so stupid. It's like, what are you going to redevelop right next to fucking sewage works?
Exactly.
Who wants to go to a Nando's on basically? That is the extent of their vision.
that
it's
is,
basically a Travelodge, a Nando's,
Yeah.
McDonald's, or something like that.
Yeah.
But also, nobody's
The
going to
Fife
sit
retail
there.
park
Yeah.
down there.
Yeah, exactly. Also, nobody's going to go down there because they're going to go up to Dunfermline because they don't want to eat their burger while it stinks of shit.
I know.
Like, it is so.
And actually,
moronic.
that land has been zoned for industrial use, which is needed.
Yeah.
We've got it's like you can't just stick industrial use anyway. Like there's very specific areas where it's suitable, and next to a massive bridge and a motorway and a water treatment facility and a dockyard is exactly where you put your
I've
industrial
seen
units.
complaints about the water treatment facility, but what do you expect from a facility that cleans shit from water? It's never going to smell of
There's a
roses.
specific point on the road, the road between Dalgety Bay and Inverkeithing. There's a specific bit every single time, almost every time you drive on it, where you smell shit.
Yeah.
And like, my mum lives in Dalgety Bay. When I'm in the car with her, she knows when to close the flaps and switch off on that specific bit so it doesn't come in. And they're like, oh, it totally isn't the water treatment plant. But it is. It definitely is.
I have to say, I've never noticed it much. I have occasionally used to notice it coming over the old bridge if you had the windows down, but it hasn't bothered me. But everybody says
Having
it
lived in
smells of
Rosyth
shit,
most
so.
of my days, you quite often get a waft of shite and you know where it's coming from. But yeah.
Your bed sheets. Boom, bring it all back. Like S Club
Right.
7.
I was just about to sing the whole song, but that was much better.
So, very quickly, just before we move on, my news story I was going to share about, which some of you might have heard, was that the Scottish Parliament was evacuated on Tuesday in the middle of business. Wasn't the whole bit, it was the bit where the members' offices are, but which houses about 500 people, and everybody had to go mill down in the lobby. And did you hear what it was?
Nope.
So this hasn't been confirmed through official sources, but we've heard it through multiple people, and it was on Twitter, so I can say it. So they were reporting at the time it was suspicious packages and that there was white powder found in the Tories' offices, and so we were all like, "Oh, white powder in the Tory office." Oh no, it wasn't even coke. It was a local newspaper, I think in Inverness, was hosting a Christmas party, and they sent invitations to all the MSPs, and they thought it'd be really nice idea to put some fake snow.
They thought it was sarin or something.
I just thought of that poor person. That was obviously probably a jobs, a work experience person that thought, oh, that'll be nice, I'll put some sort. Or a new person in the office. Imagine sitting there getting the newsfeed through and finding out that a suspicious white powder had been found in an envelope to an MSP that you had written to with their Christmas invitation.
It's one of these things you wake up in the middle and you go, shit. How can you start formulating plans? How can I intercept the post? How can I cause a big prank? I'm not going to go to work tomorrow. I'm fucked.
Oh, you can imagine. Also, the MP that opened that first letter and went.
Also, but you could also see it as how much of a grinch are the Tories that they clearly haven't had a Christmas invitation for a while when they think that their Christmas invitation, their first Christmas invitation of the year, contains a poisonous substance and it's trying to
That's
kill them.
because their ideology is literally Scrooge.
So yeah, that brought me a lot of amusement this week.
That is quite entertaining. I like that. Yeah. Oh well, I think we are pushing for time, so I think we need to go into a fight club.
Ding 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 ding.
Ding dong.
Ding ding.
Welcome one and all back to the specially constructed imaginary 9-sided Nonanagon for another fantasy fight club. I suggest you all settle in, for we have another tremendous fight card for you folk out there tonight. If you're not familiar with the format yet, then I shall explain. Each of us puts 2 fighters into the Nonanagon to battle. These fighters can be anyone or anything. We then mull over their faults and merits and how we think the fight would go. We then all decide on a winner. Let's get ready to ramble.
It still tickles my funny.
Right, who's up first?
Fuck it, I'll go first.
Go on.
So I'm gonna go with the. Oh wait, I'm gonna have to modify one because you took one of my people.
All right. Do you want me to do mine? While
You go first, and I'll modify it. Yeah.
All right. So my fight for this evening is ministerial scandal. it is the man who put the controversy into a women's fight for freedom in Iran, Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson, and now at time of recording, no longer Secretary of State for International Development, Priti Patel. So I'm just going to introduce it and I'll be interested to hear what you guys think as well of this one. But like basically, we spent the whole week, like if you're on social media and things like that, everyone's basically been saying Boris and Priti should both be sacked. Blah 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 blah. So I'm going to just champion a slightly different route, which is I'm taking entirely the politics out of it because, as many of you will know, very interested in international development stuff. So I'm going to take the politics out of this on the Priti Patel side, but say that she absolutely deserved to be sacked because she broke the ministerial code.
Yeah.
And you just can't basically take meetings with donors and foreign government representatives without the permission of the foreign secretary, without the permission of the prime minister. Allegedly, we'll see.
Yeah, there's
some controversy there, but let's stick to the original story, because as far as I can tell, that's
from the Jewish Chronicle.
Yeah, well, the Jewish Chronicle may well be correct. They may well have good insights into that. I don't really know. And without a senior civil servant being present, and
no minutes as well.
No minutes for those meetings. As well, so I legitimately think there's no clear ground that Priti Patel could have continued in her job.
No.
And I know that we're in an era where ministers are not being sacked for things that traditionally you would do because there's a very small majority, etc. But on the other hand, Boris Johnson just made a cock up.
Oh, his is so much bigger. His is so much bigger.
Yeah.
Oh no, I disagree entirely.
It has for consequences, human consequences.
Yeah.
The fact that this woman is going to end up in jail for even longer.
For years, potentially longer.
Yeah. And the thing about Boris is it's just the latest in a series of cock-ups. You have to take the Boris cock-up in the context of the fact that he's
continually cock-up.
But what other cock-ups can you think of that are realistic sackable offences? Because there is a series of ultimate aspects of disloyalty, right? Fair enough, but that is a party political thing. That is not about your job as a Secretary of State.
Well, he called members of a Commonwealth country little pickaninnies, which is racist.
That was before he was foreign.
When he was foreign secretary, he talked about clearing bodies from streets of Libya.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I don't think that's sackable, but it's pretty fucking bad.
Yep.
But this one definitely has real world consequences for something that's directly involved in his brief as well.
Yeah.
It's his brief.
Yeah.
He should know this case.
He should be doing his
Inside and
utmost to get that woman out. Yeah, and you're right. He should know the exact details of it, and he should know why it's, what the consequences of saying what he said were. He just doesn't give a shit. I mean, he doesn't. This is the thing about Boris. This job as foreign secretary is a platform for him to become the next leader of the Tory party, and he doesn't really care about what people outside of Britain think about him, and that's. You can't send someone like that. The thing about Boris is, you might not be able to say this is a specific sackable offence, but what you can say is he is doing a really bad job at representing Britain abroad, and that's ultimately what, one of the jobs of the Foreign Secretary is. And he's making a complete fool out of himself and out the country, and he's not doing his job properly. And you could sack him for that.
I absolutely agree. I think there's a stream of incompetence, but I don't think there's anything specific that you can say is sackable in any of these things. I think I agree with you. He should have known this case. He should have known all those things. But actually, ultimately, appointing your cabinet is the preserve of the prime minister, and the prime minister doesn't think that he hasn't broken a ministerial code. He hasn't done any of these things. He's just got shit wrong.
The problem is that he's essentially unsackable anyway.
Well, I mean, if you think, I'd slightly take issue with Maxie's point. I'm not entirely sure. Should I go into this? I don't know. I'm gonna. For no reason, I actually think, rather than it being a platform for him, I actually think this was literally the only ministerial job he could have been given.
Yeah.
It allows him to be often outside of the country and less of a distraction. So I think he has been...
Doesn't have to come up with any serious policy that affects local domestic politics.
He has been, realistically speaking, the most silent and quiet, apart from cock-ups, foreign secretary that we've ever seen. If you think about people that preceded him, like Philip Hammond was quite low-key, but you could see that in a diplomatic sense.
David Miliband, very low-key.
Yeah, exactly. They were all relatively low-key, but Boris Johnson's practically silent in that role. So I think it's more a case of what's the most senior thing you can do that gets him out of the country and keeps him relatively sweet.
And importantly in a fight, he has a massive weight and strength advantage.
Priti Patel is from Essex. So there is a level of scrapper in that.
Oh,
as well.
there is.
But
Whereas he's you know he's got a weak chin, Boris. That's
breeding.
Just bred into him.
But then there is also that thing where Boris does seem to be untouchable. So would he just like survive the fight because she'd never get near him?
I don't know at this stage. I think she could probably do a lot worse than actually sacking him. I think there's a lot of grounds now to do it.
I would say it's interesting with Priti Patel that she resigned, meaning that she wasn't sacked, which is very rare. But all the talk all day was that she might be sacked. But if she resigns, she can come back.
I
also
in a
think
few
she
years.
Resigned before she was sacked.
Yes, I think...
obviously that 2 to 4 years out, 2 to 4 years time, she can probably come back in some form. Undoubtedly.
I think she was clearly following the what was it? The when does Priti land? Hashtag.
Yeah.
While she was on the flight herself, and she drafted that resignation letter. While she was over, because she realised that the media coverage she had to go. Like there was, the media coverage was just covering it all day.
I think it was the moment that she got summoned back to the UK. It was like, well, I'm going to be writing my resignation letter on that plane, haven't I?
So
But she got sacked after a 6 o'clock news, did she not?
Well, it was because she had to get back.
Well, but the thing is, right?
She landed. Everyone knew when she landed. She then didn't meet May for about an hour or so afterwards.
Yeah.
Apparently, though, it was today is the normal weekly appointment with the Queen. May's appointment with the Queen. So that's
Can't
what.
put it off.
Yeah, that's what delayed it.
And
But
I was getting a
my
pizza
point
when
is,
I was downstairs. I was starving, man. I got a pizza.
my point is
Let's
that
make
they've
her
stretched
sweat.
it out to another full day, guaranteed. Because it was so late happening, and whereas they could have she could have sacked her before she went away. And I understand why she didn't want to. She was a prominent Brexiteer, all that, and she doesn't want to. She'd already lost one cabinet thing this week, sent her away on holiday, but. It's the worst of all worlds now, because now the story's dragged on for as long as possible, and you're going to get an extra day out of it at least.
There'll be something new tomorrow. The thing that struck me about the Priti Patel side of things was when you saw the well, first of all, that press release that her office put out, which apologised for everything that she'd said when she gave her previous statement. It was a complete shit show. But then also, it made a big point about saying that she was on a family holiday with her family, that she'd paid for herself, and then it listed about 30 meetings that she'd been on. Like, that is the shittest sounding family holiday ever.
Where's Mum? She's in a meeting.
She's gone to meet Benjamin Netanyahu. Not only have we taken you to a war zone and we're making you tour occupied territories, but also you're going to have to sit in a really hot car whilst your mum goes in and talks to the Prime Minister. Like, honestly, that woman should be done for crimes against their children.
Roll through the window, baby.
That's rolling down the windows.
Like, stay and shut up. We're back in 20 minutes.
You're my cover. So, Jamie, are you going to call it?
Yeah, I'm going to call it for Bojo, because he's got the staying power.
Yeah, I'm going to call
strike.
it for Bojo too, just because he's still there.
I'm going to call it for Bojo as well, because he's still there, and actually, on the basis of this incident alone, he should still be there. I wouldn't really like him to be, and I think that the Libya bodies thing was terrible, and he should have got sacked after that. But at the same time, they
literally pulled her into court the next day and said, "We've got evidence now because your foreign secretary said this."
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
But at the same time, it is, on the general scale of a foreign secretary job, a minor cock-up.
Okay.
Like, literally.
Right.
Fair enough.
Well,
Bojo.
I don't want to have to call it because they're both terrible people and I hate Westminster government.
So double knockout,
Double knockout. Can I do a double knockout?
resulting in death.
Yeah.
They have. I've seen a
Double
couple.
knockout, please.
I've seen a couple in my time. Very, very rare, but they're hilarious when they happen. Just every time it happens, the ref doesn't know what to do, and the ref's like, "Which one fell first? I'm not sure." It's
This
great.
cabinet is such a shitstorm at the moment that I think it could produce a double knockout.
Cool. Anybody next?
I'll go next.
Okay then.
Beaker steps up to the plate.
So I thought about I was on the toilet this afternoon and I was reading about
That's where you need to go, Catch.
At least he wasn't in a bed. Yeah.
Harvey Weinstein versus the now heavyweight Kevin Spacey.
Oh my word!
Is he put on weight? I haven't seen. Is he put on weight?
Kevin Spacey is quite.
He's been on muscle mass now. He's in the heavyweights now because
really?
yeah,
The heavyweight sex offender.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Oh, okay.
That was a joke, Jim.
Sorry, my bad. I misunderstood.
Yes, there's more allegations coming out about him.
I thought he'd done a Jamie / Tyson Fury and be put on the antidepressants and put on tons of weight.
So
Do you also see Charlie Sheen has had?
just
Oh, everyone knows Charlie Sheen's a sex pest.
Oh no, but about him and Corey Haim.
Oh.
Yeah, that's apparently the Daily Mail were running that. Apparently,
Daily Mail.
yeah, but it's apparently come from sources who were close to Corey Haim that Charlie Sheen was, I think, abusing Corey Haim during like one of their.
Who's Corey Haim? Is that a kid?
Yeah,
Oh shit.
he was when he was 13.
Well, yeah, he's old now, but yeah.
Well, Corey Haim's dead now.
Yeah, he killed himself. Yeah, but how old would Charlie Sheen have been at that point, though?
About like
20
19, 20
yeah.
Fuck yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Grim.
Right.
Yeah.
And on what basis are we judging Weinstein versus Spacey?
Why not?
level of like
The
Repulsive.
not even debauchery. Yeah, just like
Repulsive.
how
yeah.
well, what's the word I'm trying to look for? How prolific you are? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because Harvey Weinstein is clearly more prolific.
Yeah.
But Kevin Spacey is clearly more horrific.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about from a purely fight perspective. I think
right.
Weinstein could train in sumo. He's got the build.
At the time.
Yeah. Have those strong hips, top of
He's
takedown bit.
busy suing his own company.
Weinstein looks like a guy to me who doesn't like getting hit in the face.
Yeah.
He just looks like that kind of guy. Whereas I think Spacey would have a rage about him. If it would
They're
come out.
both off doing therapy
Yeah.
now, aren't they? I wonder if they're off doing therapy in the same
The
place.
rich person's prison.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
it's horrific. I mean, I had a lot of respect for Spacey. I thought he was a fantastic actor.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
and
that's
now
it.
it's just
Only a
like-
few months ago, and everything now just
Yeah,
feels a
we're-
bit
we're
taky.
I
filming-
saw Jason Bethno, who's now the Punisher. Is that his name?
Yes.
Something Bethno saying that on the set of
John, just Jon.
Oh, is it John Beth?
John
Sorry,
Bethno,
him on the set of Baby Driver, and he said he'd respect him his whole career. When he was a young man, he got to go to London, and he saw first thing he did was saw Kevin Spacey in a 4-hour play, The Iceman Cometh, and then he finally got to work with him on the set of Baby Driver, and he said he was a bully and an arsehole. He was really disappointed.
It's all coming out.
And he said he didn't see anything that would make him think all the other stuff, but he said he was.
Not surprised. Yeah.
Do you know, it sort of vaguely doesn't surprise me. Like, if you see some of the characters that Spacey played so easily, like Frank Underwood, obviously. It didn't feel like that was a massive reach for him. And
Is
similarly,
that an
like,
Underwood joke?
yeah.
It's so.
No, it was the knock, the ring knock from House of Cards.
Oh, I watched the first series, half the first series so long ago, sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, the whole thing was like they're filming season 6, or they were filming
Yeah,
season 6.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
probably just completely ceased to exist now.
Yeah.
the irony of
So,
this
yeah.
though is that a fictional president gets the sack for sexual inappropriateness, but a real president of America gets to abuse women all he likes and say it, go on record, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
but was it-
They're holding Kevin Spacey to a higher standard than real American President Donald Trump at the moment.
Kevin Spacey's his press release when he first got kind of thing with
yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
thing about him sort of coming out as a gay man and stuff, and it's going like,
Just like
Which was an open secret anyway, and it was
Yeah.
just horrific to
he
try
was
and
very
deflect
secretive
it.
about it, and
Yeah.
he sort
It
of
was.
came out. And
It was
okay.
such a.
But now that more
Yeah.
stuff's coming out, it makes him sound like, yeah, you're a bit of a cunt.
You're
mate.
just a proper creep.
You were just using that to kind of avoid this, but yeah, everyone's sort of coming
A
out.
smoke screen, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gay, but also to cover up I'm not seeing a kid.
I've had this
Yeah.
secret. Oh, no, I'm
And
gay,
it's
but
not
I'm
the
I've been
first
noncing
time.
lots of mostly men.
Young teenage men.
Around the
So
old Vic.
again, I think I'm
Noncing around
going
Old
to
Vic.
have to go with a double knockout on this one.
Oh, they both had.
I
Yeah.
can't let any of them win.
I'm gonna go Weinstein by sumo takedown. I can't remember the Japanese name. Haragosh, why not? And then he goes in and he takes him down, but then he falls on top of him, smothers Spacey, but Weinstein's so unathletic he can't get himself back up. He's like a turtle. And he just suffocates
Yeah.
himself, so the two die.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm going with Jamie. Definitely. That's how it's going to roll.
I think in the fight, Weinstein has so many hands that there's the chance that is like...
He's like E-Honda with 100 hand slap.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
God, that's bad.
It's 100-hand growth,
horrific.
basically.
I feel bad about that joke now.
No, that's exactly where I was going, Jamie.
Spacey's more of a Zangief, he just kind of just like just lands on top of young.
Oh, God, Priti.
Uses physical presence to overpower. Yeah.
It's lands on young
No,
men.
I just like it's just one of the most disreputable, disgusting stories of our day. I know we've said it before, but I just don't understand how these men in particular are just such fucking arseholes. Like, I don't even understand how people can't live by like quite literally a simple code of don't be a dick to each other.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you like.
It's because people start giving them, because they end up in a place where they're able to command
They think they're invincible.
whatever they want.
Yeah.
And
like
it's
it's the untouchable that
Yeah.
feel that other people are touchable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So fuck them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So-
Double knockout in a badly lit sexual health clinic therapy, but where the fuck they go? Wherever the fuck they say they go in front of the camera, you know. Yeah.
I'm glad, because
Let's
we're
hope
talking
that-
about statute of limitations for a lot of this stuff, but we don't have that in the UK.
Yeah, well, that's
So Met
because he's
Police
now-
will fucking extradite
Well,
your
so
ass.
that was it.
Yeah.
As soon as it was mentioned that the Met were looking into both Weinstein and Spacey, it was just like, they're done, because if there's if there's one group that knows how to investigate child sex scandals, it's the Met Police.
Yeah. Lots of experience
They've
now.
got a lot of experience on
They
that.
can all
and they're
fly
probably-
over
and
in
if-
Lewis Hamilton's.
If there's any one group of people that's going to nail them all, it'll be them.
So can we just say, let's hope that their therapy takes place at Dignitas.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I'm done with that. Jamie, do you have a fight?
I do, but do we have enough time for me?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Yeah. Alright, well, I'm going to go on the Paradise Papers front, tax points, and I'm going to go for...
Lewis Hamilton versus his own company that he rents his own planes from.
No, but he
There's
could
an
be...
endless loop of
He
fight.
could be sitting in like a Shao Kahn like chair watching Throne. And speaking of Thrones, we'll have Lizzie Q Unit watching fighting versus probably one of my most hated men, Gary Barlow.
Gary Barlow.
He
Gary
hasn't come out in the
Barlow's such a...
Paradise Papers yet, but he got done for it before.
Yeah.
He's like a hardened, like, time served tax avoider.
He got done for it, and the
Yeah.
BBC then still went and like obviously gave him a big contract, had him on all his fucking shows.
Yeah.
So how I see this going is basically, I'll keep it short and sweet. They're both cunts, but Q Unit at
Calls an
least
86-year-old woman a cunt.
she's a cunt. She's a cunt. Billy Connolly's a cunt for getting a knighthood as well. Anyway,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, that's,
I don't know where that came from, but
it's true. I was so disappointed when I saw him on the news. Oh, I got a knighthood. Fuck you, Billy. Anyway,
Sold out.
yeah, just like Amanda Nucci.
and Miles Job.
He's a perfect guy to get a knighthood. So, how I see it going is, basically, Gary Barlow's obviously got every advantage, but the Queen sits through an awful lot of shit she doesn't like. She can take punishment like nothing else. So if she gets out the second round, she'll win on points by a war of attrition.
Well, just think about how many times
Yeah.
she must have to visit a fucking primary school and get given a drawing by a child. Like, how fucking tedious is that? Like, you know that constant thing where you're expected to say, that's really nice, thank you for your drawing, right? We only have to do that very occasionally with, like, friends' children. She has to do this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, that
The
must
only
be weird.
reason she avoided tax is because she has to have a huge line of fridges. So she can attach these pictures on. Under Buckingham Palace, there's a huge tunnel of snake fridges.
That runs the length of London.
She's quite literally
100,000.
single-handedly keeping the magnet industry.
You know those
And they're
underground
all
stations
London
that shut
bridge
down?
ones as well.
Actually, do you know how Do you know how they once talked about maglev trains?
Yeah.
It's actually just there's a tunnel system underneath with all the fridges.
Keep it up.
A Royal Maglev. No, nothing. Right, and my point about this, I think to a certain extent, like, you have to admire the Queen. And like,
No, I don't think you do.
hear me out, right? There's a brilliant scene in The West Wing, right? Everyone's favorite fictional president, President Bartlett. He's out there playing basketball with like the Secret Service.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
first series, isn't it?
Yeah. So he's playing basketball with the Secret Service, and then another guy comes in and joins the president's team. They absolutely fucking whoop them.
Yeah.
Because that Secret Service guy used to play in college basketball at a high level. And one of the guys says, it's not that you cheat, Mr. President, it's how blatantly you cheat. Right? But imagine the massive set of brass balls on the Queen, who gets all of her money from us, and then still doesn't pay tax on it. Yeah. That takes a massive level of brass balls.
She's also defunding her own throne as well.
Yeah.
But also the do you know who's worse than the Queen for us is Prince Philip. Prince Charles, because he actively lobbies on things he has financial interest in, which is unbelievable.
Jam.
I mean,
He's not even,
I think
he's not
that's
even
the thing.
elected.
I think the Queen genuinely doesn't know what's going on. Like, I don't think she hasn't got a clue how much she's worth. She doesn't know how much money she has. The awful thing about that just showed you just how ingrained this practice is. It's just standard. If you go to anyone who manages rich people's assets, they will stick it in an offshore bank account.
Yeah.
But Prince Charles should have known. I mean, he should have known where his finances were.
He definitely knew because he
and then
lobbied on
proceeded
behalf
to lobby
of
about
that.
it. So it was a lot
people,
more.
People are like, oh, but he still might not
Yeah.
know, and it's like,
No,
thinking.
like
There is a level on Panama Papers where you've got to accept like what is legal and what is illegal about tax avoidance, tax evasion.
Legal
But it was immoral.
I completely agree. There is a distinction between illegal and immoral, and there's also a point about the complexity of financial instruments as well, which is some are so complex you have no idea where your money is going, quite literally. But yes, you're absolutely right. Prince Charles obviously did know because he was lobbying on behalf of them, which I think is terrible. But at the same time, he does like classical architecture, so I have a level of sympathy for him.
He likes classical architecture.
And
He
organic
built that
farming.
town.
He's away with it. I fight,
He built that town. Has anyone been watching Electric Dreams, the Philip K. Dick series?
Not yet. No, I've not seen any of it.
There's a fantastic episode. Guy gets off a train to jumps off of it into the middle of nowhere, and there's this town. And I looked it up, and apparently it's one that Prince Charles built.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Because he likes, but apparently both like sociologists and architects just rubbish it and say it's and town planners say it's really shit and it doesn't work at all well as a town.
Yeah,
and that's
it's
why
like
it
that
looks
toy
like
town
fake
thing.
facade.
No, I've seen that.
One thing that we've kind of vaguely glossed over in this whole discussion is how much of an arsehole Gary Barlow.
Well, that's just a given. Like, we know that we've
Right.
I mean, this
At least the Queen has done some sort of service, even if I don't think she should be doing the service.
Yeah.
At least she's got a tiny thing going for her. But Gary Barlow is just irredeemable.
Yeah, he's done a disservice to music.
I don't know. Like, Praise a pretty good song.
Oh, fuck off.
Like some classic Take That hits.
Infinitely smug Lewis Hamilton is always lurking in the background of his fucking plane.
Fast car.
Didn't he just break the record for most Grand Prix wins or something?
He's for championship.
Who gives a shit? It's not a real sport.
He's close to it.
For UK.
I think he's
It
about
was
to beat-
UK.
Oh, was it UK?
Yeah, he
only?
beat Jackie Stewart.
Yeah.
He's
I thought it was World. I thought
He's
it was
about to beat Schumacher.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton versus Michael Schumacher, fresh out his coma. If he is out his coma, that is.
No,
I don't think he is.
I don't think he's coming out.
Don't think he's ever coming out of his coma.
Do we, yeah, well, what
That's
is
so
this?
sad,
It is
actually.
actually really
It is,
sad.
yeah.
So,
Lewis
yeah.
Hamilton's.
So I'm going to call this one
Right.
first. I'm going to call it for the Queen by points because she can take a pounding.
Well, I'm gonna
Says Prince Philip.
call it for the Queen.
They've never had sex in years.
I think, like, bearing in mind that the Queen has, like, the Secret Service behind her, and they would totally, even whether the rules allowed it or not, they would jump in and just shoot Gary Barlow dead.
Yeah.
Well, they'd
been
allowed-
poisoned beforehand.
They'd
Yeah.
allow. Actually, I think you'll find that they'll allow her to Gary Barlow to get into her room and have a chat with her for half an hour before they turn up and do anything, which is what always happens.
Yeah.
I just thought they would get him in another tunnel.
Oh, for the man that was sensitive about that.
Right. Beaker, how you calling it? You don't have to take this long. It's not real.
I'll get mine in just briefly while Beaker's thinking. Queen for the just sheer brass balls of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Gary Barlow.
You
generally
contrarian
I generally don't mind Gary Barlow. I have no
Get
feelings
out.
towards him. It's the Queen. But then, like Max said, the Queen probably had no visibility at all of her accounts for many, many years. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go with the Queen.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm flip-flopping.
As per usual. As per usual.
Beaker.
Yeah, no, Queen, because I hate Gary Barlow, and I think the Queen, one way or another, would finish him. She'd smash his puss in. She'd just be so angry.
Who's it we have sitting in? Is it Lewis Hamilton sitting in? Finish him.
Right.
He's fucking posh
Lewis
boy.
Hamilton,
Who's not
Posh
gay.
boy.
Who's
Finish
not
him.
gay. Who's definitely not gay.
What?
What?
Nicole Scherzinger can testify to the fact that he's definitely not gay. That was a genuine relationship they were having.
Genuinely in love.
Yeah, when they generally flew to the Isle of Man together on the jet that he rented from himself. He didn't rent from the plane that he didn't own rent of the plane.
So
But
I've got
Right.
he was just
Yeah, right, last one.
business use.
Last
When they went on
one.
holiday for his business use where they
Beat
rented his
shut up.
plane.
Let's
somebody
cut short.
stab him.
On Instagram. On holiday.
I've got a fight for you. It's a bit of a second part to a fight that I've already suggested, and it was a harrowing fight.
Oh God. It's not Gordon the Gopher again, is it?
Forgot about that.
It's not Gordon, but it is the deviant that was his cohort and co-presenter, Philip Schofield.
That's even worse.
I've told you all the time I've got suspicions about Schofield.
Schofield versus Ed the Duck's co-presenter,
Andy Peters.
Andy Peters.
Andy Peters has been in a fight before.
Is it? Oh,
Andy
yeah.
Peters has been in a fight before. Yes.
But it doesn't matter because Andy Peters is Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is swole.
Yeah.
I can't remember Andy Peters being in a fight.
Well,
Someone.
Was it not Andy Peters against Philip Schofield?
have we had this fight before?
We had Ed the Duck versus Gordon the Gopher, and then we jumped in Peters and Schofield on the
Oh
side.
right, we've jumped in on
Yeah.
the side. Oh shite.
Well, we've
We've not done a full.
Well, yeah, exactly. Let's just have it out. Let's have it out, Cuts. You're
Yeah.
right.
well.
So
I'm just gonna say, have you seen Andy Peters? He's going to grab Philip Schofield's skull, just pound it off the curb. He'll be ridiculous.
and it's not because he's built or anything, it's just because of the roid rage that's built up inside him. Because there's no way he got like that without some
Oh no.
without some assistance. But yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I would like to think Andy Peters would win it. However, we all know how allegedly depraved Philip Schofield is.
Do you remember when Facebook was very, very new and someone made the group, I saw Philip Schofield shitting into a packet of...
I forgot about that. That was so good.
This
I love that group.
This side of the M9.
It's so good.
Someone's... It has so many likes. And that was it.
What did they used to share on this group?
Just like
Talking about
stories about Philip Schofield that were clearly made up. Of they'd seen him shitting in like various places. It's so fun. Just the name alone. It's so good.
It was just, when Facebook was still in, I saw Philip Schofield shitting into a packet of empty Walker's crisps on the side of the A9. Way by.
Oh dear.
I can believe it.
So it was 100% true, yeah.
I'm with Mark on this. I've always had like Philip Schofield's always creeped me out quite a bit. Like
I
right
totally
back
agree.
from the Live and Kicking days, and was it him that did Live and Kicking?
He did Going Live.
He did Going Live.
It was Andy
yeah.
Peters did Live and Kicking.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
No, Andy
suspicious of
Peters
everyone
did.
these days, I'm honest. It's all going to come out.
But there was something about Schofield.
Twitter's 280 character limit. It's coming out even faster. Harder.
Well, you say it's faster, it'll be harder to read.
Yeah.
And I'll get there much quicker. Well, what I was going to point out, like, on the Schofield thing is, like, he always just had this, like, there was an air of difference between Schofield and his co-presenters and things like that, you know what I mean? He was always, like, too focused.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everyone else is having a laugh, not Schofield. Schofield's got a fucking dirty, devious plan
And
behind
his
it.
career in mind. He was like, one day,
Yeah,
I'm going to present This Morning, and I'm going to make shitloads of money, and no one's going to know about my dirty past.
And it's like I was watching MasterChef The Professionals tonight, right? And spoiler alert for anyone that wasn't in.
Oh, no, I've not seen it. Yeah, I just started watching it last night, so I've only seen one episode. Don't
Right, no, I have to spoil it. There's a guy in it who is called Daniel tonight. Who Daniel gets interviewed at the start, and he went, "Yeah, but if I get through this round, I reckon I'm in contention to win it." Daniel got fucking booted out right away because he was absolutely shite. And there's something about Philip Schofield that I kind of want to see a downfall of that as well. But then going back to
Tom Hanks thing.
yeah, there's not. I don't know.
I think he's got skeletons.
Really?
Oh, I think he's too good, too nice.
Yeah.
Too posh.
Too nice.
Yeah.
But he had his drugs and bad boy phase back in the day.
Did
In
he?
the 80s, yeah.
That was a screen, a cover. If anything, that's where it all began.
But I want to point out on the Andy Peters point as well that one point Andy Peters got wrecked by a wheelie bin.
I remember this now. Yeah,
happen?
because we talked about this.
Yeah,
totally.
Andy Peters got wrecked by a wheelie bin. It was like Andy Peters versus a wheelie bin.
So yeah, Andy Peters had a fight with the bin.
Yeah, got wrecked. Absolutely wrecked, mate.
But then he got frightened by a dog.
He did
as
get
well.
frightened by a dog
I'm
and
always
then got wrecked by a
yeah, so. No, he seems quite a nervy character.
He's stacked, but he's a nervy fighter.
He might be.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Philip Schofield would turn up with a knife hidden somewhere.
Yeah, and I think he'd be cool, calm, and collected, and kind of like Hannibal Lecter.
I reckon he would wipe his ballsack over like Peters' fallen body. I think there would be a teabagging would go on there.
And it would be awkward and uncomfortable for everybody watching.
That's my childhood destroyed.
Maybe just like rip out and eat his liver or something like that. There's something about it.
Yeah, or take him down to the dungeon
Yeah.
where Gordon is.
God.
I miss reminiscing about the horrible dungeon with Gordon the Gopher. That's one of these things we just absolutely needed to write to Jim O'Paint it. Absolutely loved that. Like a pain-stricken Gordon the Gopher dancing round a pole. Sad stripper.
With Schofield, with
Yeah, chucking money.
Monopoly money as well, because he's not real, so it doesn't matter.
I think I did my last week on the podcast. I just wanted to point out before we left. Did my falling on his sword pun for Michael Fallon.
Yeah, that was...
But did you see that the Sun? That was their fucking headline. Roger sent me a picture of it on a tray going, "You writing for the Sun?" I said, "Yeah, it's obvious."
You celebrated that you were writing for the Sun, great.
Yeah.
So
I think Schofield wins it on
because-
craftiness.
Yeah.
because he's dark,
Sleek it.
devious, and yeah,
I'm going Peters with the raw power.
just
On a date.
Better to be lucky than to be good.
There's no
crunch him with his abs.
there's no drug testing program in the Nonanagon. No.
We want them drugged up.
Speaker, what are you calling it for?
What was the fight? Sorry.
Andy Peters, Philip Schofield.
Oh, Andy Peters is going to
Yeah.
win. Christ, he's size of him.
I think Schofield takes it 3-2.
Yeah, I think so. I
Yes.
think so. This
I
time.
was, I was looking at a list of people allumed in the Paris papers, and Harvey Weinstein makes an appearance.
No.
You guy has no luck.
I know, you think you've had a bad week, but imagine being Harvey Weinstein.
Oh,
I'd rather not.
Harvey. You got the sitcom. Keira Knightley.
Honestly, I don't think there'll be anybody that's untouched by that. Because,
Can I just say,
Headline-
Headline Brown's boys, go fuck themselves.
If Keira Knightley and David Beckham comes in, it'll be the Sun, front page tomorrow, bent like Beckham. Picture of both of them.
Oh yeah, there's 3 people, pretty much. Yeah. 3 people from Mrs. Brown's Boys and Keira Knightley are the actors and actresses from United Kingdom.
Mrs. Brown's Boys is an absolute travesty.
Yeah, it's horrendous, yeah.
So, will we bring this to a close?
Yeah.
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 Jamie, do you want to give us the socials?
Why, yes, I would.
You're very good at reminding me these days.
Please talk to us on Facebook at facebook.com/5clubpod or search at 5club, Twitter at 5club, Instagram 5club, email ken@5club.co.uk or on www.5club.co.uk.
And if you weren't sure, the name of this podcast is Fife Club.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that we'll call it quits for tonight, and it brings me to that time of the evening. I have to ask Beattie, what is the motto?
Oh!
Do it again.
I was 6 months to think of it. Just stop being a cunt. People are such cunts these days. Kids, Harvey Weinstein, Lewis fucking Hamilton. Yeah, just help Schofield. Just stop being cunts.
I think we can all get behind that one.
It's a really strong message and one I endorse. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's like the sister message to be excellent to each other from Bill and Ted.
Be excellent to each other.
Don't be a cunt.
But again, that goes back to my point about like 1980s crimes and things. We've gone from the positivity of be excellent to each other.
Yeah.
Just try not to be cunt.
Although I do like to think that if Google had set up in Scotland, because Google's
Don't be-
Google's
Don't be a cunt.
Don't be evil.
Is don't be evil.
Which they dropped a few years ago.
Yeah, it used to be, yeah. But Scottish Google would definitely be, don't be a cunt.
Yeah, maybe a pure cunt.
Cunt. Aye.
Right,
Okay, well, good night.
Night.
Good night.
people.
Landon.
Yeah.
A mix of Priti Patel ministers and
Yeah,
Paradise
and then
Papers.
I've got a couple of local stories. So, aye.
Cool.
Yeah.
Actually,
I've got plenty.
a
I've got
local
loads.
story.
Yeah.
Giacomo's doing a pretty good deal on Tea and Scone at the moment.
Oh, that's your local story right there.
Right, fair enough.
Interesting. I'll be in town tomorrow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right.
Can you just tell us about this fucking story, please?
I really hope it's worth it.
It better be worth
Build it up to much better cut.
Yeah, literally, if this doesn't involve a unicycle, I am not interested.
I'm gonna go to the library tomorrow and write some shit and hand back my book. Actually, I'll rephrase that. I'll go to the library tomorrow, write some shit, and forget to bring my book. That's almost definitely what will happen.
Or leave the book there and
Yeah.
and then I go, oh, what's this book? Jimmy,
I'll just on my way out. I'll just chuck the book at the librarian in the head, so you can't see my face.
But they'll be able to check your records.
They will. Doesn't have my picture on it though.
So you're going to do some writing. So how long will it take you to do 280 characters? But
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was a really
There
good
you
film.
go.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
flush to try and save water. Joking, I didn't flush.
Okay.
it's like, oh, you've gone that green.
If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down.